Gentlemen, if y'all would come in and find a seat, we'll get started. Y'all got quiet fast. I'll start off. Chad is not going to be here tonight. I think he's working somewhere out of town this week. But Lance will be doing our training here in a few minutes. And I know Jeremy has a couple things to share, but you can't hear me? Is this turned on the soundboard back there? Who can't hear me? That's what I thought, but it's the one that says HH. HH. You should have green lights bouncing when I'm talking. Hello? There we go. There we go. Thank you. All right. But I'll get us started with some sub-varsity stuff. As you know, the week of the 2nd got assigned today, and I sent out those assignments, and I'm almost done with, that's really loud now, I'm almost done with the week of the 9th, and I want to apologize to some of you because Jeremy was so good at this, I knew I would mess it up, and I have not been doing it the way Jeremy did it, as some of you have let me know. And the one thing I've been doing differently is I have been trying to put 4 officials at every single site, like everywhere. And when I do that, it requires people to have to drive a little farther sometimes, but it gives you 4 officials. And if you've worked sub-varsity with 4 officials, it's much easier than with 3 officials. So on the 9th, we don't have enough officials for me to put 4 people everywhere. So you will probably see more 3-person crews in some places. And some of you that have reached out to me and said, hey, I didn't know I was going to drive this far, some of that stuff can be corrected. If you feel like I'm sending you too far to work a game, please reach out to me, and I will try to fix that. If you would like to drive further to work games and make more money, please reach out to me, and I can help you with that as well. Also, I do have a request. I know a lot of you have gone into Arbiter and you've set blocks. Please be realistic with your blocks. Some of your blocks on Thursday night say you will travel 15 miles. You're not going to get any games if that's where you want your blocks to be, because I can't really assign you within 15 miles of where most of you live. So I would encourage you to put 50 or more miles on there. I'm not going to send everybody 50 miles every week, but it just makes it easier because when you put those blocks in, your name comes up as not available to work a game. So the wider open you leave that block, the more I can put you in games. So does anybody have any questions about that? I'm sorry if I sent some of you farther than you wanted to go. Sort of, not really sorry, but kind of sorry. So do y'all prefer to drive or do y'all prefer to work 3 officials at a site? Both? You want both. You don't want to drive and you want 4 officials. Thank you, Lance. So that's my goal. I'm trying to get as many people as I can on the field, and also it makes it way easier if you have that 4th official out there. So, no more sub-varsity questions? Sweet. Carl Tapley's going to Mount Enterprise next Thursday.
All right, guys, so it's week 1. It's time to get at least a little bit excited. I just want to encourage you all, just remember, we do this for fun. We do this because we love the game. We enjoy officiating as a whole. So keep that in mind when you get out there. Be relaxed. Have a relaxed pregame. Have a conversation with your crew throughout the week. And then when you get on the field, just, do our job and do it to the best of your ability. Work hard, but ultimately have fun while you're out there and convey that through your body language, through how you officiate, through your conversations with the coaches, their support staff, and the players, and ultimately just, do our job and have fun. And then if you have anything for me from a varsity standpoint, please don't hesitate to reach out at any time. So call me on a Saturday. I've talked to a couple of you guys on Sunday trying to get clinics done. So don't hesitate. Happy to help in any way I can. And then just throughout the year, come touch base at any point if there's something I can do to help you. So that's all I have. And again, just have fun. If you're not having fun, then you're doing something wrong. Thanks. Yes, crew chiefs. I sent out communication on members of your crew that were not complete or TASO ready. Of most of it, every one of them in some form or fashion was impacted by the clinic. So, and I know there are some challenges with a couple of videos, 7 and 8, that were not showing or populating quickly. Just, again, follow up with that member on your crew and make sure that it's complete. Crew chiefs, if you're not ready, please make sure you get yours done and set that example for your crew. And once the crew chief is ready, I will publish your game for the week. So I'm waiting on that for you that are maybe on a crew. If you haven't seen your game through Arbiter, it's because your crew chief is not ready.
Everybody happy that scrimmages are over with finally? Ugh, brutal. How many had a scrimmage that was over 2.5 hours? Man. Somebody had 4. Somebody had a 4-hour scrimmage? Good God. Who? No. Well, we appreciate you guys doing that. That's a necessary evil, unfortunately, in this business that we have to do scrimmages. It's a good way to shake the rust off a little bit, though, and start trying to figure out if your body's in physical enough shape, I guess, to get through the heat in the game. So it's good that we get to do that and help us prepare just as much as it's helping the kids and coaches prepare. So like Jeremy said, guys, from a training standpoint, we've got a lot of veteran officials in this room, and he's right. When you walk on that field, you need to be relaxed. You're there. We're all in it to have fun, enjoy it, give something back to the game that taught us something, and you want to be relaxed. And part of being relaxed, in my opinion, on the football field is knowing that you know what you're going to do on the football field. Okay? If you go out there and you're questioning something because you don't know, then you're probably going to feel a little bit more uneasy about that football game, right? So being prepared to work that game, preparing yourself, preparing your crew, if you're a crew chief, preparing your crews to work those football games, it will help you feel more relaxed on the football field if you know that nothing can happen on that football field that you don't know how to handle, okay? It may be ugly. It may not look pretty, all right? I may have to talk to somebody on my crew about it, but we're going to get it right. And that's the most important thing, is that you've got guys around you, you included, that's going to get it right, okay? We owe it to the kids, and we owe it to the coaches to make sure we just get it right. Again, it may not always look so pretty. There may be times where you have a 2 or 3 minute break in a football game because you have to talk about something. Perfectly okay. Just get it right, okay? I can always go to a coach. What in the world took you so long? We were talking, Coach, making sure we get it right for you, okay? So be prepared. Everyone got the bulletin that I emailed out last week. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I got probably 10 or 15 emails back from officials talking about how much they liked it and to keep them coming. I'm doing that, guys, to keep us engaged, just like I said in that bulletin, in that email. I'm doing it to keep us engaged. And also, if you're not doing pre-games during the week, when you arrive at the stadium and you're fixing to go call your football game, if you're not doing a pregame, formalized pregame of some sort, this is good material just to pull that email up and talk about it. I'm trying to give you guys some things that can ignite some discussions and engage your crew and fellow officials in the chapter to talk about different aspects of the game. This year, I'm really, just mentioned it to the crew chiefs, I'm really focusing on the philosophy side of what we do, okay? Rules are black and white, mechanics are black and white. We can look in a book and read all day long. Reads like stereo instructions, right? It's terrible, okay? Which is fine. But we all know, sitting in this room, if you've officiated a football game, we officiate in the gray area. Everything we do is in gray, right? By definition, could we not call holding every single play? We could probably find one every single play, right? But philosophy says that we don't call holding every single play. Philosophy tells us when it is and when it is not holding. Philosophy tells us that, right? That's the gray area that we have to officiate in. So I'm focusing this year on philosophies. This past bulletin was the philosophy on holding. This week is going to be on line of scrimmage stuff. I think you guys will enjoy it. I'll have 3 questions of the week I'm not going to give you guys the answers. If I pose a question and you want the answer to it and you don't know it or can't find it, call me or email me, okay? And I'll give you the answer. But most of them aren't hard. These last 3 questions this week were not difficult at all. They're not going to be real hard. But just to get your mind thinking about if you're on the football field and you see this happen, what are we going to do? Okay, that last question, if you didn't get in that bulletin, there's options on that last question. Now, the ruling's the same. The ruling on that last question is the same. But there's an option that we need to know and give that coach. Okay? If you didn't know the question, there was hold that takes place in the end zone. 3rd and 9. 3rd and 9. 4th and 9. 4th and 9. 3rd and 9. 3rd and 9. Holding in the end zone. Okay? If you're late in the game, any foul by teammate that happens in their own end zone's a what, by rule? It's a safety, right? Okay? Could they decline that? Could they decline the foul? Absolutely. Why would they do that? So they make the team punt. Maybe they need a touchdown. The safety's not going to do them any good. Maybe they want to force a punt, get the ball in their own field, own end of the field, and go score a touchdown. We got to give them that option. Okay? It's good to be thinking about things like that. Slow down, make yourself think about it. So we're going to focus on philosophies a lot this year. We're going to focus on a ton of topics right here. We'll work through them pretty quick. And then some of the longer topics I've kind of saved for some bulletin material each week for you guys to go over and look through, okay? So we're going to start here. 2021 philosophies and winning questions. At the end, there'll be a quick summary on 10-second runoff. That's new to us. I want to do a recap on that because we're kicking off for real this Friday. And God forbid we get into a situation where we're going to have a 10-second runoff. We need to know what qualifies, what doesn't, when it is and when it is not, and the options that each coach has, okay? So we'll do a quick recap on that when we get through here. The philosophies and winning questions, guys, if you've never gone to the rule book, in the center part of that rule book where the penalties are and the signals and all that, there's a place called winning question, okay? Guys, if you don't know your winning questions, like the back of your hand, I urge you to get to that page in that rule book. Those are there for us. They are there to help us, okay? Because there's times in a football game where we don't get the luxury of replay, and we have to make a split-second decision on a judgment call. And those winning questions tell us, if there is a question, this is what you do. So if you aren't sure, this is what you do, okay? For the referees, it's a big one, right? Arm going forward, okay, ball comes out, right here. I don't know if his arm was going forward or if it was just still back here, okay? Winning question, what is it? It's an incomplete forward pass. It's not a fumble, okay? That helps us, right? Winning question, is it a catch or an incomplete pass? What is it? Winning question, is it a catch or an incomplete pass? Okay. All right, winning question, is it a score or is he down on the 1? He's down on the 1. It's not a touchdown. Okay, those are things that help us officiate plays that we don't have the luxury to go to the booth with. Okay? And it's going to happen, I promise you. You officiate long enough, it is going to happen. All right, so we'll start right here. Maybe. Stephen, is this working? Smart guy. Booyah. All right, we'll start with backwards pass, guys. Winning question, the pass is forward, not backward, okay? Wings, is this important to you guys? How many of you guys have seen that quarterback drop back and throw a ball to the flat? Okay, from a referee position, if you're a referee, raise your hand. Raise your hand if you're a referee. From a referee position, is it impossible to tell if that thing went forward or backwards? It is really freaking hard. I am no help to you. I'm not even looking there. I'm still watching my quarterback. It is on you, wing, okay? And some of those things, even from my standpoint, even on film, when I look at it, I have to stop it where the receiver catches it and look and see where he's standing with that football versus where the quarterback's standing when he released it for me to tell if it was forward or backwards, okay? When in question, the pass is forward, not backward, okay? Backward passes are intentional, They are on purpose. This is important to remember, guys. A backwards pass is a purposely thrown backwards pass. It is intentional, okay? This is important right here. When the quarterback's hand starts forward with the ball, we roll the pass forward, even if he's contacted and the ball goes backwards or sideways. Wes Hall, where you at? You ain't had this happen before, have you? Jacksonville, Texas? Wes calls me on the phone. Dude, this is what happened. I said, all right, what you got? He explained it, and I said, Wes, I think you got a backwards pass, man. He sends me the film. I look at it, I'm like, Jesus, man, that is backwards. And then I started thinking, well, hang on just a second. That's a winning question. There's a philosophy about this. So I start looking, and sure enough, his situation, the quarterback is here, and he's going to throw the ball, and he gets hit. And when his arm's going forward, that ball slings out, and it goes 8 yards backwards. I mean, 8 yards backwards. And everybody in that stadium, I guarantee, was going, get the football. Go get the football. That's an incomplete forward pass. Even though the ball went backwards, his arm was going forward. He did not mean to throw it backwards. It was not intentional. Okay? That's important to remember, especially you referees. Very important to remember there. Blocking. It's not a block below the waist if the initial contact is above the waist and the blocker slides down. Everybody knows that, right? The initial contact has to be below the waist. That's why we preach and talk about it so much. We got to see the whole thing. You got to see the whole block, right? You got to see the first to the end. If you only saw half of it, you didn't see any of it. Okay? To be a foul for an illegal block in the back, the initial contact of the block must be from behind and above the waist. When in question, the block is below the waist. So if there's ever a question on whether or not he's getting hit from behind, if it was above the waist or below the waist, they want it to be what? A clip, right? They want it to be below the waist. Okay? But the initial contact of a block in the back has to be in the back. It cannot be from the side. Okay? Blocks from behind, below the waist is a clip. This is an interesting one. I actually had a phone call this past week about this, that they didn't realize that there is a place on the football field where you can legally clip somebody. Okay? A clip is legal if within the tackle box, above the knee, and the ball has not left the tackle box. Okay, so I can legally hit a kid in the back at his thighs below the waist as long as it's inside the tackle box and the ball's still in the tackle box. Okay, can I do that back towards my original goal, back towards my inline? No. Okay, all blocks below the waist, whether in front or from behind, back towards my own end zone, is an illegal block below the waist. All of them. Okay? The force of an illegal block in the back could be slight and still a foul if the contact propels the player past the runner or prevents him from making the play. Doesn't have to be vicious, guys. And sometimes you'll see that, typically it's a cornerback going after a receiver on a sweep or a run to the outside, and they're going, that cornerback is going to tackle the running back. And that corner is just creeping up behind him, and he'll just give him a little push right in the back, right at the point of attack. Okay, and it's just enough to move him that way or this way and miss the tackle. It's not hard, it's very slight, but it's in the back, and it's enough for him to miss a tackle. They want, by our philosophies tells us, they want that called. Okay, they want that called. If the blocker, this is a good one, if the blocker is in chase mode, all contact must be from in front or the side, all of it, not even one hand. Okay, so you think about this. Stand up real quick, Jeremy. Sorry, dude. All right, so if we're just in a regular old scrimmage play, nothing's different, okay? There's no chase or anything else, and I get this guy right here. I got a block in the side. This is not a block in the back. This is not a block in the back, okay, in a regular play. This, in between them shoulder blades where the numbers are, we got a block in the back if the initial contact is here. Okay? Now, if I'm in chase mode, our philosophy tells us if I'm in chase mode, you're going that way, and I get you right here and hit you, we got a block in the back now. Okay? If I'm in chase mode, the philosophy tells us he has got to be 100% legal. Nothing from the side, nothing from the back, if I'm in chase mode. Okay? Don't give him that advantage. He's already got an advantage, right? Because the guy doesn't see it coming. Okay? We're fixing to talk about that. Blocks from the side that subsequently end up in the back are not fouls as long as the contact is maintained. Similar to the blocking below the waist, if I start here and I go down, it's not blocked below the waist. Blocks from the side that subsequently end in the back is not a block in the back as long as I've maintained contact. If I get that guy in the side and I push him away and he's 2 yards down and then I go block him again and then I get him in the back, was contact maintained? No. That second act is illegal, okay? Illegal block in the back that occurs at or about the same time as a tackle shall not be called unless they are a personal foul in nature, okay? This is judgment right here, okay? We just talked about that slight push that throws him off. I can put my hand on the kid's back, you know, and not give any force to him, and it may look like a block in the back as he wraps up the runner's legs. Okay, we're going to leave that alone. He's made the tackle. No harm, no foul. Okay, you got to use our discernment to understand whether or not that block was forcible enough to throw him off that tackle. If it's not, he makes that tackle. We're going to leave that alone. May look like crap, and the coaches are probably going to holler, "That's a block in the back." Coach, he made the tackle right at his feet. Okay. When in question, an illegal block in the back occurs in the field of play rather than the end zone. If we are unsure, we're going to put him out of the end zone, okay? An illegal block in the back that is aggressive and delivers forcible contact should be called a blindside block. This is a strange one here because it kind of goes against everything else in the rule book. But when in doubt, so when in question, our philosophy tells us that it's an illegal block in the back. Typically, when in questions or safety issues rise to the higher level foul, which would be a personal foul, blindside block, right? That's more vicious of a penalty than a legal block in the back. Our philosophy tells us if we are not sure it's in the back, it's not a blindside block, okay? And the reason that is because a blindside block should pop. Everybody in that stadium should see that blindside block, right? Because usually those are vicious hits, okay? All right, so they're saying if you didn't see that, then it's probably a block in the back, and that's what we need to go to. All right, catch. If the process of the catch includes going to the ground, the receiver must maintain possession of the ball. The ground can cause an incompletion. It can't cause a fumble, but it can cause an incompletion, okay? This is always a good model to live by. Can the receiver hand you the football? When that play's over, could he hand you the football? If he can, we got a catch. If he cannot, we got an incomplete pass, okay? Be slow, guys. Great philosophy here. Be slow on rolling the catch to a receiver that catches a ball inbounds and then falls out of bounds. Okay, this applies to interceptions and fumble recoveries. Be slow. There's no reason to be quick. Okay, you see a lot of these guys run down the sideline, they're doing this right here and killing the clock and all that. Slow down. See everything, okay? Because you look really, really embarrassed when you're saying it's a catch and the receiver's walking 2 yards to pick the football off the ground to hand it to you, right? Be slow. Okay? There's a difference in the ball moving within the receiver's control and moving from a loss of control. Okay? You watch a lot of NFL games or college games where they got 30 different camera views and they replay all these catches. You can tell a difference if I'm a receiver and I've caught the football and it's moving inside of my grasp. Okay? I've still got possession of the football. I may not have control, but I've got possession of it. Versus a ball that is never in my grasp or possession and goes into the ground. Okay, that's an incomplete pass. So there's a difference, okay? There's a difference in that. And understanding and being able to see that live on a football field takes time, but we got to slow it down in our head. Got to slow that play down. If the receiver is contacted simultaneously with or immediately after he controls the ball with 1 foot down and loses possession, it is incomplete. Everybody agree with that? Okay. This is interesting here. This is how I've always remembered it. A play that would be ruled a catch or a catch and fumble in the field of play would also be ruled a catch and a touchdown in the end zone. Okay? So if it was good enough for me to call this kid with a catch and then hit and the ball goes out, we've got a fumble in the field of play. If he makes that same thing in the end zone, I've got a catch and a touchdown. Right? Because the play's over, correct? So if you're going to call it a catch fumble in the field of play, you got to call it a catch touchdown in the end zone. Let's talk about clocks. Every official is responsible for clock status. Every single one of them. Guys, I kid you not, in our games, I will look at my wing officials 10 or 15 times, especially after a foul of some sort, a helmet off, something along those lines. I will look at my guys. Are we hot? Okay, I'm not typically, I'm not asking because I don't know. I'm asking to confirm, am I right? Are we hot? There are some times where I'll look at Scotty. Scotty, are we hot? Because I have no freaking clue. I do not remember. Okay? It's everybody's job to know the clock status. Everybody's job. The referee may make any clock adjustments necessary. This gives us, referees, crew chiefs, this gives us free reign on the clock. Okay? We have the ability, the responsibility, okay, the ability and the responsibility to maneuver that clock wherever we think it needs to be in order to be fair. Okay? Everybody clear? Everybody understand that part? We have control of that clock. If time is being kept on the field, turn the scoreboard clock off. No reason to have it on, right? God, I pray you don't have to worry about that. Whew. The play clock. Once the play clock reads 0-0, back judges right here, the back judge will look for the ball. Okay? If the ball is still on the ground and not in the process of being snapped, it's a foul for delay of game. If the ball is being snapped, we're going to give it to him. Okay? There is no foul. Okay? It's a philosophy, guys. All right? So if I'm a back judge and that play clock hits 0 and I glance at that ball and it's still on the ground, here comes my flag. If I look at that clock and it's 00 or 0 and I look and that ball's being snapped, we're going to let that go. Okay, no foul. All right? Know the signals used if the play clocks are not working. Okay, back judges, crew chiefs, y'all had that discussion, okay? If the play clock stopped working during the game, I highly recommend calling a timeout, go to both coaches, let the coaches know, coach, this is what we're going to do. At 10 seconds, I'm here. At 5 seconds, I'm here. Okay? Or whatever signals you want to use. 10, 5, right? But make sure if those stop working during the game that we actually tell the coaches, hang on, we got to fix this. We have to talk about this. Okay? Like, make sure they know so they can record that or tell the quarterback that. Be sure officials have a device to keep time if necessary. Make sure your back judges or your side judges, they have the device to make sure that we can keep both the game clock and the play clock at the same time if we have a power outage of some sort on the scoreboard. If the game clock, this is a good one here, guys. If the game clock has less than 3 seconds remaining when the ball is snapped, this will be the last play of the half or the game, unless the period is extended by rule. So we have 2 seconds on that clock, okay, and it stopped. The clock stopped with 2 seconds left, and that quarterback goes under center, and he takes that snap and he spikes the ball. That game is over. Even if there's 1 second on that clock, the game is over. Run that clock out to 0, it's ball game. 3 seconds, we're still going to give it to them, okay? But 2 seconds or less, 2 or 1, they get one more snap, and that's it. Then just tell the clock operator that in your pregame, okay? Because the last thing you want him to do is leave 1 second on that clock and us say the game's over, okay? The 5 and 5 axiom, this is a good one. You must be more than 5 seconds differential if there is more than 5 minutes remaining in each half. So if I'm going to put time back on the clock outside of 5 minutes in either half, okay? If we're in the first quarter with 8 minutes left, okay, if I'm going to make a clock adjustment, it's got to be more than a 5 second differential. Okay? I'm not going to put 2 seconds back on the clock with 10 minutes left in the second quarter, okay? If we're under 5 minutes, makes a difference. This goes out the window. But more than 5 minutes in either half, it's got to be a big clock malfunction for me to put time back on the clock. Consistency. Coaches want consistency in what is and is not a foul, so they know what to coach. Do not call a foul. This is good stuff here, okay? Do not call a foul in the fourth quarter that you passed on earlier in the game. That's how you get yourself in trouble. If it's not a foul in the second quarter, it's not a foul in the fourth quarter. Likewise, don't pass on a foul in the fourth quarter that you called in the second quarter. okay? Where they're at in the field, where they're at in the game should not dictate what we do and do not call. It's either a foul in the second quarter, like it is in the fourth, or it's not, okay? Do not call a foul near the goal line that you passed on near midfield, okay? If it's a foul at the 40-yard line, it's a foul on the 2. Again, does not matter. Same thing. Do not pass on a call near the goal line that you called near midfield. That's what coaches want. They just want to be consistent. They want us to be consistent. That really, honestly, that is what they want, is just to be consistent week in and week out. Be consistent in marking the ball ready for play throughout the game. Referees, create that time and create that flow, okay? All right? I'm going to tell you how I do things on Friday nights on my crew. If we have a first down and that clock is stopped, but we're going to be hot, right? Let's say the runner goes down at the numbers on the 20-yard line. As soon as that ball gets in my umpire's hand, if he is inside that hash mark, I'm running the clock. I'm starting it back up, okay? I'm not waiting for him to put the ball on the ground. Once he has ball in hand inside the hash marks, we're running, okay? That way it never changes. Coaches, I've been doing this the whole time. I've been running the same clock the entire game, okay? Be consistent. If you don't want to do it that way, that's fine. If you want to wait for the ball to get down or however you want to do it, but just make sure you do it the entire game. Don't change it up. One team may run a hurry up, one team may huddle. That doesn't change how we set the play clock, okay? False starts. A flinch is a flinch and a false start. This applies to linemen and backs. A flinch is a flinch, guys. Don't ever tell a coach, he just flinched, no harm, no foul. A flinch is a false start every time. Be consistent, okay? If we have to start judging what is a flinch and what is more of a flinch, then we've messed up, right? A team A player going from a 2-point stance into a 3-point stance at the snap commits a false start. Kill it, okay? If my guard and tackle are still going to the ground when they snap that football, we're going to kill it. It's a false start, okay? Quarterback head bobs and jerks intended to draw the defense offside is a false start, okay? Be strict under center. Not so much in the shotgun formation, but under that center, we got to be paying attention to the quarterback. His head, especially the center also. The center will do it too. You'll see sometimes that center will lift that head up real quick, okay? And I'll tell him after that play, don't you do that again. If you want to look up at your block, you better slow it down just a piece, okay? It's way too fast. It's jerky, okay? If the center flinches, head bobs, or moves the ball, this is a false start, especially if this is only done on 4th down and short yardage plays. You'll see that happen, okay? Third and 3, and that center will get down there, and he'll get in there, and, if I look at it and think the play's fixing to start, then we've got a false start, okay? Just be aware. We want to be more strict on those yardage plays than we do on 2nd and 10, okay? It matters. Be alert for defensive signals and cadence calls. This will be a delay of game on the defense. It's not unsportsmanlike, nothing crazy. It's a delay of game, okay? And we're seeing a lot more, are we not? We're seeing a lot more of this in the game where that defensive guys, shift, go, move, real loud, real strict, real loud. I mean, just aggressive, right? And they're doing it when the quarterback's under center, he's in shotgun formation, ready to receive a snap. That's when they want to do it, okay? Warn them, but when you warn the kids, warn the coach. Tell the coach too. Coach, we just got onto your linebacker for hollering that cadence out. He's saying shift, not hut, not go, not anything. He's saying shift. I get it, Coach, but he's doing it right at the nose guard in the center, okay? He's up here telling him to do it. If he wants to do it, stand back here and tell him, shift. There's no reason to run up there all herky-jerky and yell that, okay? But if you're going to warn the kid, make sure we tell the coach. All right, kicks. The kicking team restraining line is a hard line when onside kick occurs. Don't be technical on deep kick or pooch kicks, okay? Think about that. If that kid is a half a yard over the line when they kick the ball off and it goes to the end zone, is that a big deal? Not a big deal, okay? If he's a yard over that line or a half a yard over that line and they kick it 12 yards trying to recover an onside kick, now it's a big deal. We've given them a head start, okay? Hard playing on onside kick, hard playing. Loose on long kicks, hard playing on onside kicks. Now, if the kid's 3 yards past the line when he kicks it to the 10, that's a different story, right? That's big, okay? But we're not going to be real technical on those long kicks. If the kickoff results in a touchback or a fair catch, do not call an illegal wedge formation, an illegal block in the back, or holding unless it's aggressive in nature. There is no advantage gained on any of those fouls if the ball ends up as a touchback or a fair catch. Okay? Be slow on calling those guys. Be slow. If you see it, there's no reason to immediately throw it. Okay? You've got time in a free kick. You got plenty of time. Okay? Make sure it develops. Okay? We want to leave those alone. No harm, no foul. Fouls in general. See the play, read the action, and make the call. Go slow in calling fouls. Okay? For the newer officials, this is going to be really hard, guys. Was it not? Veteran officials, raise your hand if you had a problem with this. I know I did. As soon as I saw that foul, whoop, got it. I'm good, boy. I nailed that sucker right there. Okay? It doesn't matter. Be slow. Be slow. Process what you see. If you think it's a foul, it's not. If you know it's a foul, then it is. If you think it is, it's not. Just remember that. I think he hit him in the back. He didn't hit him in the back. Okay? I think it was pass interference. It wasn't pass interference. Okay? I think he held him. He didn't hold him. Okay? Know what you see. If you don't see the entire action, we don't throw the flag. We just talked about that. With proper mechanics, your view of the action is all that's required. Okay? Don't let the coach help you. And I know nobody in this room does that, right? Nobody. But those coaches are going to beg all night long. New guys, you're going to hear it all stinking day. He's holding. That's a block in the back. That's pass interference. That's a false start. That's an illegal shit. You're going to hear it. They're going to beg all night long. Okay? Don't let them help you. Be where you're supposed to be when you're supposed to be there and use your judgment. Okay? You're all that's needed out there. We don't need any help from the coaches. Kind of goes back to the integrity thing. Okay? Seek the help of a nearby official if necessary. Okay? Nothing wrong with talking to a co-official about something. Absolutely nothing wrong. Okay? But if it's your key, it's your call. Okay? 2 years ago, 2019, in a game, my back judge threw a pass interference call, DPI, in a big game. And it made a difference in the outcome of that game. It might have changed who won that game, okay? And he went to a co-official and asked him, this is what I saw, did you see it? Is that how you saw it? Wasn't the co-official's key. He's got his own keys he's worried about, okay? He said, man, I don't think it is, but that's your guy, it's your call, okay? The 23-year official, I walked up to him in the game, said, what do you got? I got DPI, went over the top of him. Are you sure? Are you sure? Because you had to go talk to a fellow official. Are you sure? Yep. Okay. Are you positive? I'm wearing him out. Yep. Okay. We did it. Get the film back, got text messages and phone calls. We get in the locker room after the game. That was terrible. That was a big miss. All these things. I'm like, yeah, it wasn't pass interference. Okay? Nobody did anything wrong on that. He stood by his call. It was just wrong. The co-official didn't see it, wasn't going to talk him off of it or into it. No problem, okay? There's nothing wrong with doing it, though. There's nothing wrong with an official going to a co-official saying, this is what I saw. Did you see it that way? Absolutely nothing wrong with that, okay? Talk about it. Just what we talked about earlier. The most important thing is get it right. Just get it right, okay? We got that one wrong, big time. In applying the rules, look for a clear advantage gained, okay? That's what we're looking for. And illegal, flagrant actions are always a foul. Any kind of a flagrant safety issue, flagrant foul, those are going to be called no matter what. Wherever on the field, away from the ball, at the ball, doesn't matter, okay? Blindside blocks, a slug to the face, illegal block below the waist, those are safety issues. We want to get all of those no matter where they are. Everything else, okay, there needs to be an advantage gained. Has to be an advantage gained or we don't have a foul. We don't have Me Too flags, okay? Y'all know what a Me Too flag is, right? Back judge throws one, hey, linesman, here he comes, all right? We don't have those, okay? If you see it, throw it, okay? If there's more than one flag on it, no problem. Just don't echo a flag because he's got one on the ground. We're not trying to convince anybody of anything, right? If one flag's on the field, we're going to penalize that foul just like we would if there was 4 flags on that field, okay? Goal line. When in question, it is not a touchdown. He was short, okay? We're going to make him do it again. So if you're ever a question of if he got inside that pylon or did that ball get over that goal line, he didn't, okay? When in question, he did not. The entire ball, here's a good question for you. This is good. Referees and umpires, make sure you had this conversation with your guys. Make sure there's a signal between the wings and the umpire that lets the wings know that the ball crossed the line of scrimmage, or the goal line in possession, okay? Jason, do you have one? You got a signal, what do? You grab, same thing my umpire does. He grabs it right here, because he ain't gonna blow his whistle. God forbid my umpire blow his freaking whistle anytime during the game, okay? So I know if he's reaching for it, he's telling me something, because he's not gonna blow it otherwise, okay? So he'll grab his whistle, and that tells my wings that we have a ball in possession across the goal line, we have a touchdown. And a lot of times it's hard to see those. The running backs will get up in that gut, and there's, 14 players right there trying to make a tackle, and they can't see the ball, the player, the goal line, anything. But the umpire can see him right here, right? Have some kind of signal to let those wing officials know, I got a ball over the goal line in possession. We're good, okay? Be slow. Again, be slow. Umpires too, be slow on that. The entire ball must be in the field of play, or it's a touchback or safety when you're coming out, okay? The entire ball. We want that entire ball across that goal line, okay? We want the entire ball across that goal line if we're going to keep him, if we're going to put him out, okay? The entire goal line is in the end zone. Everybody in this room better know that, right? Okay. When considering whether or not a receiver has taken the ball out of the end zone on a kick, an interception, or recovery, it is the position of the ball rather than the player's position or feet that determine if the ball is out of the end zone. The player means nothing in NCAA, okay? NFL is different, but in NCAA, it's all about the ball, okay? If the ball's over, then he's out. Sometimes he'll have that ball in his right hand or right arm, and he's left foot's out of that goal, over the goal line, back into the field of play, but the ball's still behind him, right? That ball never left the end zone, okay? It's all about the ball. Hideout and trick plays. Formations and actions during the execution of a trick or unusual play must be completely legal, 100%. We talked about it in the crew chief meeting, okay? 100% legal or 100% illegal. There is no gray area when you have a trick play, hideout play, anything like that. Referees, we talked about in the crew chief meeting, when you have your pregame with the coach, make sure we're talking about it. Ask them, do you have any unusual plays? Listen to them, and then respond, okay? But they have to be 100% legal. Any play that uses substitution or communication with his sideline at the snap to deceive the opponent is illegal, okay? That's a big one, guys. Anything that uses substitution or communication to deceive the opponent is going to be illegal, 100% of the time, okay? If a play can only be run in front of a team's bench area, it's probably illegal. And I'll have that conversation. The coach will say, I'm going to bring somebody out here. This is what we're going to do. And I say, Coach, no problem. Would you run that same play with that guy on the other side of the field? No, I can't. Well, then you can't run it on this side then, Coach. Okay? If you can't run it on that side of the field, you can't run it on this side of the field. It's not going to be legal. All right? Officials must be aware of all substitutions, especially ones that could create an illegal substitution foul. Okay? Everybody knows the signal for substitution coming in and out, right? So if it comes off my head linesman's side, I want Ron out here with his arms out right here, okay? That tells me we've got a substitution. I'm right here. Toby's over the ball, okay? I check my other team. I give them 3 seconds. 1,001, 1,002, 1,003. No match. Arms go down. Release my umpire. Everybody do it similar. I'm not saying that's the way you have to do it, but we got to be somewhere in that neighborhood, okay? Referees, give them an extra count. Okay, sometimes it's hard for the guys in the press box or the guys across the field to see that number coming in. So if it's number 21 and he's 6'6", receiver, they probably got a defensive guy they want to match up instead of the 4'8" sophomore they got out there that's fixing to get hosed. Okay? Give them time to see that and get that guy in. So give them an extra half a second or a second, especially if they're running hurry-up offenses. Okay? They're trying to get that pace up. Slow it down. Slow it down. A player may fake a spike and continue to play. He can even throw a pass. Everybody agree? We can fake a spike and still launch it, right? But he cannot fake taking a knee. The ball's dead. Okay? I had one last year catch me off guard in Kaufman, Aubrey versus Kaufman, and the center actually snapped the ball and held the ball on his butt while the back took it from him and then took off running. Okay? That's illegal. You can't do that. It's got to be direct. Okay? No delay. All right? So be aware. It can happen. And we were in the flow of the game. It was 28-7. I didn't think anything of it. And I saw it. I'm like, Jesus, I haven't seen that in forever, right? Can't do it. So just be aware. Always be alert. Ineligibles downfield. For a restricted player to be illegally downfield on a forward pass that crosses the line of scrimmage, any part of the player's body must have been more than 3 yards past the line of scrimmage before the pass is released to have an ineligible downfield. Don't be technical, okay? Don't be technical. If he's 3.5 yards, he's 3 yards, okay? The important thing to remember, guys, and coaches, I don't know if they absolutely know this rule 100%. It's not where that lineman is when the ball is caught. It's where that lineman is when the ball is released. So when the quarterback is here, that lineman can't be more than 3 yards, okay? 3.5, 4. Where's your umpire at? That's where he can be, okay? That's what I use. That's what I tell my guys to use. If Toby's here on a pass play, he's going to take a couple steps up. He's 4 or 5 yards away from the line of scrimmage. If I've got a lineman or an ineligible receiver past him, we got a problem. That's a good marker, right? Your umpire. Let him be a marker, okay? But he's got to take that couple extra steps because most of them start 7 or 8 deep. Take that couple extra steps. If he's at him or behind him, we probably got a foul, okay? If the passer is legally throwing the ball away, out of bounds, near or beyond the sideline, we do not have an ineligible downfield. Okay, we're going to let that go. It's a philosophy, okay? No harm, no foul. No advantage was gained. He threw the ball away. The guy was 10 yards downfield, doesn't matter. Okay, he threw the ball away, no harm, no foul. We're going to let that go. Again, be slow, right? Be slow. Because it's not a foul if he doesn't throw the ball, right? So we got to make sure we got a pass. Okay? The flag is thrown after the pass. So watch the result of the play. That's going to be a late flag. Ineligibles downfield ought to be a late flag, okay? A couple more, guys. Touchdowns. Always go slow on ruling a touchdown. Look at the other officials if you need help before making any signal. There is nothing worse than one guy doing this and the other guy doing this, okay? Seattle, remember? Yeah, okay. So always check your co-officials. Plays down the sideline, wing officials, thumbs up, head nod, something, let the back judge know he got in. Okay, you didn't step out of bounds. Guys, we're seeing a lot more 7-man crews. Deep wings, be looking, okay? Be looking at each other. All right, if the ball's going, stand up, Kurt. If the ball's going this direction, right here, okay, so we're throwing the ball this way, all right? Be the deep wing right there. Okay, and the receiver catches the ball between me and Kurt. Kurt, you're the field judge, I'm the line judge. He catches the ball between me and Kurt. If he is catching it this way, the ball is facing me, what do I have as a line judge? I've got the ball. Does he have control of the ball? What does he have? The feet, okay? If he's turned the other way, now I've got the feet and he's got the ball because that's what he can see and this is what I can see, all right? Make sure we're looking at each other. If there's a question, there's no go ahead, thank you. There's no reason that we have to make that call initially, just immediately. No reason. It's okay to go up to him, hey, I had his feet in, I had his ball being juggled. Then we don't have a pass, we don't have a completion, right? Talk about it. Talk about it. Have a signal set up between the wings and the umpire to help officiate inside plays at the goal line. We just talked about that. Your touchdown signal kills the play. Know that you know it's a touchdown. Okay? Harmony, Texas, third year officiating. 5-yard line. I'm a line judge, and I go up. Then I realized I'm at the 5-yard line. And he went down like the 2. So he didn't score, which made it even worse because he had to go back. So just make sure, guys, make sure. That touchdown signal is just like an inadvertent whistle, okay? When in question, it is not a touchdown. When in question, it is not a safety. All must maintain focus on dead ball action after a score, okay? Everybody has dead ball action after a score. All right. Any questions about those philosophies, winning questions, anything like that? Anybody? Good. All right. We're going to talk about this and we'll be done, guys. 10-second runoff review, okay? Again, we're starting here. I didn't have any last year until the playoffs, and we actually ended the first half in a 10-second runoff, okay? So it can't happen. We actually ended the half in a 10-second runoff last year. So let's talk about what is and is not, okay? What do we have to have a 10-second runoff? The game clock must be running, okay? If the game clock is stopped, if the game clock is not running, we will never, ever have a 10-second runoff. It's got to be running. That's number one, okay? There's got to be less than 1 minute remaining in either half, okay? If the clock reads 1.100, we cannot have a 10-second runoff, okay? Got to be under a minute. It's got to happen before a change of team possession. And either team commits a foul that causes the clock to stop. The key word is immediately. It's got to be an immediate stop of the clock. Got to be. Got to be less than 1 minute, okay? Game clock's got to be running. The foul has to stop the clock immediately. It cannot be a hold. Cannot be a pass interference. Okay, it cannot be an illegal motion. Okay, anything that's going to that we would let the play go, we are not going to have a 10-second runoff. Okay? Everybody clear? The R will subtract 10 seconds from the game clock at the option of the offended team. Okay, so we have 45 seconds left in the game, fourth quarter. Clock is running, and we have a false start on the offense. Okay? Do we qualify for a 10-second runoff? Yes. Once we have identified that, then we have to go through our options. Okay? We're going to go to the offended team first, the team that did not foul. We're going to give them that option. Coach, we had a false start with the game clock running under less than 1 minute. You have the option to subtract 10 seconds off the game clock if you so choose. Do you want the 10-second runoff? Yes, I want it. Cool. I'm going to get on my little mic to my wing guy over there. Scotty, they want the 10-second runoff. That team has a timeout remaining. Do they want to take it or do we want to do this? Give them the option, okay? We're fixing to get into that. I'm just telling you the process of what we're going to go through here, okay? So let's talk about some scenarios that can create a 10-second runoff. A false start, just talked about. An encroachment, okay? The wide receiver gets out there and he's 3 yards beyond the line of scrimmage, set and ready to play. And the ball's back here, it's encroachment. It's going to stop the clock. Offsides with contact, defense jumps offsides, we got him. Intentional grounding to stop the clock, that qualifies, okay? This is kind of the weird one here. An incomplete, illegal forward pass will qualify for a 10-second runoff, okay? Incomplete, illegal forward pass, okay? That's not all of them, but those will be the culprits, okay? Backwards pass out of bounds to stop the clock, okay? And any other foul committed with the intent of stopping the clock. Everybody clear? Those are your fouls, okay? An injury timeout qualifies for a 10-second runoff, okay? NFL and NCAA, they're dealing with an issue right now with feigning injuries, right? Somebody's faking that they're hurt so they can slow the game down or stop the clock or whatever. We don't have to worry about that yet. But if somebody's out there, a coach says, hey, I need my safety to lay down on this play, okay? That's why they put it in there. Can't do it. Helmet comes off. Any kind of helmet that comes off, we got to stop the clock for that. Now, even those, what has to be happening? The clock has to still be, game clock has to be running, okay? The offended team may accept the yardage penalty and decline the 10-second runoff. So we have a false start. The coach says, I want the 5 yards, but I don't want the 10 seconds off. We can do that, coach. Not a problem, okay? But if the yardage penalty is declined, the runoff is declined by rule, okay? So I can't go to him and we got a false start, coach. Well, I don't want to take the yardage because I want the field position. No yardage, but I want the 10-second runoff. Can't do that, coach, okay? Can't do that. If you decline the penalty, you decline the yardage, you decline the 10-second runoff, okay? If the 10-second runoff is enforced, if it's enforced, the clock will always start on the ready for play no matter what. Even if it was an injury timeout, helmet off, whatever it is, no matter what, if they want 10 seconds, we're also going to start on the ready for play, okay? If the 10-second runoff is not enforced, this is important. If it's not enforced, no matter what, we're going to start on the snap, okay? And there are times where we would typically start it on the ready for play. This rule, this rule and this 10-second runoff supersedes all of the clock rules, okay? So no matter what, if they say they don't want that 10-second runoff, we're starting it on what? The snap. If they accept the 10-second runoff, we're going hot on the ready for play, okay? The offending team may avoid the runoff by using a timeout if any remain. That's what we just talked about. If he doesn't have any timeouts remaining, okay, we're done. In the playoff game last year, when we had that in that half, there was 8 seconds left. We had a false start. Clock was running, killed it. Coach didn't have any timeouts. He really wanted one, but he didn't have any. Game or half over, okay? All right? The 10-second runoff does not apply when there are offsetting fouls, offsetting injury timeouts, or offsetting helmets. So if both teams have players down because of an injury, or both teams had a helmet come off, we're not going to give either one of them the option. They are offsetting, and we're rolling. Everything remains the same. Whether the clock was dead, clock is supposed to start on the ready for play, whichever one, we're going to run it just like we would if it was 3rd and 6 in the second quarter, okay? So clock's got to be running, right? The foul has to be an immediate shutdown of the clock. We have to be less than 1 minute. If we meet those 3 criterias, then we have to have a conversation with the offended team, okay? They can decline the 10-second runoff and take the yardage and the penalty, but they cannot decline the penalty and take the runoff, okay? If we have a 10-second runoff, we're starting on the ready, okay? If they decline the 10-second runoff, we're on the snap. Do we have any questions about the 10-second runoff? Any questions? Awesome. That's all I've got, guys. Have a very good first week, okay? Very good first week. If y'all need anything, holler at us. I'll send a bulletin out on Wednesday. If you have any questions about any of the questions or any of the philosophies or anything like that, feel free to reach out. Hang on, Jeremy's got something.
1 minute. Hey, new guys, mostly it's all new guys, but if you're working chains or clocks, the board approved increasing our charge to the schools. So that's now a $75 charge plus mileage. So chains, anything auxiliary to a school, chains or clock, you'll have there's a pay sheet on the website, and it's a $75 fee to the school instead of $50 from prior years, plus your mileage, depending on where the assignment is. So that's all. Yeah.
We tried. We got it.